Urban Notes Podcast, where real people tell real stories through urban lifestyles and cultures.
Peace and blessing, King.
Yeah, bless up, buddy. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, man. It's a blessed day.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, welcome to Urban Notes Podcast. We pleasure to have you today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Um, Most definitely, man. So I want you to tell my audience a little bit about who you are, a little bit like where you from, what brought you to this space, and where they can find you.
Yeah, I'm originally from the small country of Belize in Central America, and I moved to America about 22 years ago. So I'm living in Chicago now. And the type of music that I performed and that I record is dancehall slash reggae slash Afrobeat.
That's fire. That's fire. That's fire.
Yep.
Definitely, I definitely, I listen to your music. You know what I'm saying? I tune in, I listen in, and I was like, "Ooh, interesting." There's a different genre of music that's going on with you playing, and I
Correct.
was like, I need to connect with people who is from my homeland. You know what I'm saying, and really shed the conversation. So definitely. So, what is one thing you want to tell artists who are doing your music right now? Like, what is one inspiration you want to tell them?
To keep on going, man. Keep on pushing and never give up because the journey is hard, but you just got to keep on pushing.
Right, right. Definitely, most definitely. Okay, so how can you tell us a little bit about your journey as a Belizean artist living in Chicago and what pursued you into doing artistic passion to this vibrant city?
Yeah, as a Belizean artist, man, I grew up in music because I used to play in like traditional bands back home where I was born and grow.
Right,
And but the type what I'm really trying to do right now, is like the journey has been difficult. It has been hard due to the simple fact is many of us was not educated when it comes to music. You know what I mean? We were just
right,
recording music and try to put music on YouTube and hopefully someone would see our music and share and stuff like that. We never
right,
understand the full detail about music, the investment part, the marketing part, and all those different stuff behind the scene. That's what we were lacking. You know what I mean? But I guess 3 years ago when I decided to record my new album, no, 2 years ago when I decided to record my new album, the where it all began.
right,
Uh, then I start digging deeper into stuff and start, you know, make sure my music is marketed properly, promoted properly, and stuff like that. And I've seen an advancement, man, when it comes to people liking my music, people sharing my music, people purchasing
right.
my music, the shows and stuff. So yeah.
Most definitely. So, how has your Belizean heritage influenced your artistic styles and the theme of exploring your work?
Man, it has influenced me a lot because if you realize that most of my music and stuff, I still sing them in Creole, because I'm a Creole person. So my lyrics is still in Creole. It's not like, you have some other artists they try transition into like sounding too much Jamaican and stuff like that.
Right,
My is still like traditional. I still traditional Creole in my music, even though it's reggae or dancehall of Afrobeat, but I stick to the Creole. You know what I mean?
right. And so, like, cause you said Creole, right? A lot of people trying to say it's Haitian Creole, right? And
Correct.
for us as Belizean, we speak which is Creole, which is broken down English, is more patois version.
Correct. Correct.
And so, what can you tell people who don't understand the Belizean language of Creole versus the history of Creole with the Haitians? So, what can you tell them?
Man, I could tell them they just gotta research, man. Do some research because I mean, it's not like you said. It's not too far off from the Haitian and the Patois and all of those different stuff.
Right,
Uh, it's a English language broken into slangs, and that's how I classify it as because most of the words that we use are just slangs. But
right.
Creole is a language now, so I just wanted the people to know that that's a language now in that country.
Right, and definitely because a lot of people don't know, like Belize is an English-speaking country, but the native tongue is Creole, which is
Right.
predominantly, people from. If you really look back at the lineage of where Creole came from, really came from West Africa,
Correct. And
and
we about me and a couple of guys were talking about that the other day because, we have a lot of different cultures in Belize, but
right,
majority of Belizeans speak Creole. It doesn't matter what culture you're from, you speak
right,
Creole. You know.
everybody, Chinese, the Indian, the
Right.
Pakistanis, everybody. There's a very eclectic version of Creole which everybody speaks commonly,
Exactly.
and as you as an artist, right? And like I know a lot of people still trying to like get news to this wave of like dancehall slash African beats, right?
Mhm.
And now we know that dancehall and Afro beats became sensational ever since before post pandemic, right? It was post pandemic, after pandemic, um, and just to hear your music, right? So like when you as an artist, who are you talking to when you sing those music?
Usually I especially when I'm recording, it's like I just like transition myself into my own headspace and start thinking about situation that happen throughout life. Everybody
Right.
have different life experience, and I've been there, done that. So some of my music you would hear, some of my music is well conscious, talking about stuff that happened in our daily life today, and some of my music is from past or from friends, past relationship and stuff that they went through, and some is just some makeup stuff that came to my head once, like I said, once I get my head in a headspace and said, okay, I'm going to sing about love, then I'm just going to sing about love. If I'm going to sing about like domestic abuse, then I just wrap my head around it and just start concentrating and just come up with lyrics for that.
Most definitely, most definitely, and I love that because like I love conscious music, right? Because I love
Right.
the authenticness of a music. Like I love bars. I love to hear what the artist is portraying, right?
Right.
And when I listen to your songs, right, because I listen to a lot of them, and I follow you on TikTok as well, and I follow you on Instagram, and I see how people gravitate to the music, right? Where we came from back then, a lot of young people was not thinking like that, was not
Correct.
moved like that. And now we live in a time period where Belizeans now are getting more exposure to this to American way of like doing music. There, you have from Big Bang Manifest. We have different artists that has translated even what's his name? Thai music as well. You know what I'm saying? So we have these various of young people doing elective work. And so, what is one thing you want people to understand about the Belizean culture, not only living in America, but the ones that live back home that has not had those opportunities? What are some things you want to lift so people should know about Belize that they should really research about?
I mean, when it comes to beliefs and stuff, man, to me, I believe like people should never, when I say never, I mean never give up their nationality or their culture or whatever they were born into. It doesn't matter what part of this world you are. And when
Right,
it comes to these and music and beliefs, I just want my younger artists to know they just got to keep on working hard and, invest more money into productivity, want it to be better
right,
production, because that's what the people they want to hear. Because I've been hearing people for years saying that Belizean production is just not up there like this one, like this other country and stuff. But now, since me and you talking, you realize now that there's a many Belizean artists that have like high quality production. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
Even Belize, but like I said, music is not only about talent.
right.
That's the thing we came to realize 2 3 years ago. It's not
It's about
about
the struggle for human justice. It's
exact.
talking about the non-existent collaboration of what it means to show up unconditionally into a society that creates and perpetrates harm. You know what I'm saying? Because when I hear your songs, you really talking about what it means to grow up in Belize, what it means to live in Chicago, what it means to live in California, and you see the difference of variation of urbanness.
Correct.
And a lot of young people now, that's why one of the main focus of doing these podcasts and really having conversation with people who are like-minded like me, who also come from my country, is to uplift Belize in a way that help the young people in Belize to really galvanize their mindset into like thinking about not only be gangbangers or be this. You could be a rapper, you could be a dancer, you could be a choreographer, you could be a DJ, you can even be a producer. Like there's Belize don't have those type of things. And
Mm-hmm.
the way you talk and the way you communicate, you're giving that energy like, listen, what I remember when I was younger, my mom used to listen to this song. They said Belize have no culture, Belize Creole have no culture, Creole
Correct.
have no pride.
Uh-huh.
And one of your songs really resonate with me when I was singing that. So I was like, yo, why you give me that Blacktown, but also the Afrocentric with a little bit of reggae, dancehall influence
Mm-hmm.
into how you collaborate your work. And I was like, man, this dude is fire. Like, okay, I know Thai music is on here on his rapping thing. I know Big Manifest on his rapping thing, but you bring a new conversation. You bring a new topic into an old conversation.
Correct. Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And so, with that being said, in what ways, right, has the multicultural environment of Los Angeles, Belize, and Chicago impacted the artistic growth and creativity as a Belizean artist?
Man, I do believe it's how it impacts us is it's like it's tough. Like let me first explain that when you're talking about impact, because if you're talking about New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and these other part of the different state in America, also Belize. You know, when you are a Belizean artist, and I'm pretty sure you know this, it's harder for us because, you know, people see us as their own, so people don't see us as what we really are. You know,
Right.
we're artists first, right? But they don't see
Mm-hmm.
see us as a Belizean man or woman doing music. So the support is not where it's supposed to be when it comes to our Belizean supporting Belizean artists, and not only Belizean artists, but anything from Belize when it comes to Belizean restaurant, all these different stuff. People
Right.
don't really give it 100% when it comes to support. Let me tell you a little story right quick, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Definitely speak
So
true.
I have my engineer, right, my producer,
Right.
right. He mentioned to me one time, he said he had his family around for a dinner, right?
Right.
He said he played this song for his family and they were jamming to it. They were loving it. They was like, man, that song is so good. We love it. At the end, when the song was finished, so they said, so who's the artist singing? And he said it's a Belizean man, right? It's a Belizean, a young guy from Belize singing the song. As soon as he mentioned the word a Belizean artist, each and every one around that same table start critique the song. Oh, I think they could have done this better. Oh, I think they could have sing this a little better. Or they could have changed a few words and stuff like that. So what I'm trying to say with our own people, it's hard. So it's for us. I think it's easier for us to promote our music, especially if we're not doing punta music. It's best for us to try and promote it in different part of the world with a different group of people
Right.
instead of
Right.
Belize itself. You know, because if you try to promote your music only with Belizean people, you're definitely gonna fail.
Right.
You know.
Definitely go. You bound to fail. You know what I'm saying? Because because people, a lot of people don't understand that. I want my listeners to understand. Belize is a very rich country, right?
Mm,
But at the same time, Belizeans live under and below the poverty line. So
correct.
when we have people who come from we come from Belize, and these artists and these doctors and these philanthropists and these people, these are people who came from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They came from. I remember like when I was younger, because I migrated from Belize at the age of 13, and when I came here, you know, I back then when I was in Belize before I left, I started writing poetry a little bit,
Correct.
and I didn't never ever let anybody see it. But now that I got older and I started writing and dropping it now, people was like, "Whoa, wait a minute, what are you? I'm Belizean." Oh, you are? I like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Why? What's that? Oh, well, you know, y'all young. I like people don't understand that Belize has no resources to help young people.
Exactly.
There's no resources. So like, yeah, you might have little programs that cost probably what, an arm and a leg that probably be there for 2 months, and then what they gonna do next?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm not sure how accurate this statement gonna be, but I was just speaking to someone from Belize the other day, and they was telling me that out of 2,000 people or young kids that graduate from college got to go work at the call center because there's no jobs.
Right.
You know.
Right. Right.
So it's hard from the get go when it comes to the young people, and that's and see people don't really understand, man. That's why you have a lot of Belizean artists, and Belizean artists is working so hard to try and reach a certain stats in life, what, where they could be comfortable, where they could help out the other artists and help out the country where we're from, you know what I mean? Because we don't have businesses and stuff like that. We don't have
Right.
like proper stuff for the youth to just go and say, man, you know what, let me start record a song or whatever. And when the youths try to record song, even if they don't have the money to put behind the song and the song is not as perfect as what people might think, people start criticize the music. But they
Right.
have still to realize the youths of Belize don't have no money,
Right.
you
And
know?
that's the thing that I try to for me as a person, right? I'm a former activist. I've been doing nonprofit work for a minute. And I was working with some brothers who do mass incarceration. I was working with undocumented folks. I worked with the LGBTQ. So I have seen, I have witnessed, and I have touched trauma. And to see that my own people has indulged in trauma after trauma after trauma from not only from the system itself, but from also police brutality, from
Correct.
also the like. Let's be real, right? Belize has a lot of hurt because a lot of stereotypical ideology. Oh, you're light skinned, you got more privilege. Oh, you dark skinned, you ain't you. And then you have policing start doing policing thing that is not policing. Then you have doctors who's supposed to help you, not treating you right. Then you have lawyers who not helping you. Then you go to the jail system. Then what happens when you come back out? There's
Mm,
still more nothing else to do. So what you do, you rebel back to the same thing that you've done before. You go inside the prison, and you
correct.
come and do the same thing again because there's lack of resources. People say, "Oh well," I'm like, if you understood tourism,
Mm-hmm.
and if people understood the statistic behind the tourism board, and there is a two-thirds of that prison, the two-thirds of that prison population, right? Two-thirds of the prison population, 85 of them come from our neighborhoods, and
Correct.
75% of them, what do? They go back to the
Mm,
prison system because there's no
correct.
jobs. There's no, all they can do is just sit home, chill, or try to figure it out because of lack of resources. Now, Belize is developing into the place of creating jobs, but the jobs require degrees. But yet, when I was growing up, man, it was so hard to find a job. I see more people on the street corner selling dope, selling crack, selling weed, beating up people, robbing people. I even see people getting shot at before. You know
Bro,
what I'm saying?
I went to Belize. I went to high school in Belize, and I finished high school in Belize. And after graduation, I had to go work at like a golf cart, like a golf cart, like a company, whatever. They have golfing and all these stuff. We were chopping down pastures, dude. That's
Right.
what we when and we graduate from high school. We couldn't even find a job. We had to pick up that machete
Yep. All the
to make a little money.
time. All the time. You get the machete in because that is how you put food on the table for your family. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Doing the hardest of the hardest work, like doing from garbage to yard work to build a house, like. And people fail to realize one of the five people get humanitarian help. One out of five people, child get locked up. One out of five people, child get killed. One out of five people, child get raped. One out of five people get beat up by police. One out of five people can't help no health care. One out of five people can't even go to school. And these are actual real statistics.
Correct. You're right.
And people like, oh and I keep telling people all the time, where I came from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I know what
Came
it's like to
up.
have nothing. I know what it's like. My mom worked at a bank, and we was fortunate enough to have the stuff that we got. But I knew people I went to school who had nothing at all.
Yep.
And I'm like, bro, you good? You need something to eat? Like, come to my house and get something to eat, bro. Like because that's the only way humanitarian needs are met. Like,
Correct.
and when you have a person who's the commissioner of police, like Chester Williams, who say, well, we got war on black people, or war on crimes, or war on these things, you're indirectly saying you're telling generational poverty they win. Because
Correct.
what
Exactly.
do? You're taking away the man from the household that he provides for, lock him up. Now the woman became the man in the household to provide for her children. And when you have artists like young men like yourself, and y'all talked about the nitty gritty, a lot of people like Belizean will be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what? Like you said, yeah, 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 that's cool. Like, but you know popcorn, but you not da da da, but you not da da da. And I'm like, why do we gotta constantly downplay, downgrade,
Mm-hmm.
embarrass our own people when, let's be real, Spanish protect their own, Indian
Exactly.
protect their own,
Correct.
Chinese protect their own,
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. Why are we the only English-speaking country in Central America to kill ourselves?
Yeah, bro. I don't quite understand it, man. I guess we were set up to failure for failure, man, from the get go.
Because why? Because Spanish wanted us and they think that they control us. Because why? If you look back in time period, people, to give a quick synopsis of it, Belize, before Belize became Belize, it was British Honduras, which basically saying the British and Honduras controlled it.
Correct. Uh-huh.
And therefore, when Belize went to fight for its war, it won its independence, and they ended up changing the name because
To
they
the,
want to be themselves. And
exactly.
it was Spaniards versus the Baymen. If y'all don't know what that means Baymen means the black man versus the Spanish. And they
Mm-hmm.
went to war on the mahogany tree for labor, because what the labor they had, cut down trees to build homes, to build couches. That's why you see a lot of people in Belize they have more hands-on work ethic than they have brain-on ethic, because you work harder to get what you need than you work smarter. Because in Belize, you work smarter don't means you get the same as you work harder.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And so what advice, right? Because we share a lot in this conversation. What
Mm-hmm.
advice do you have for aspiring artists who dream of pursuing the passion in California, passion in Chicago, passion in Belize, to take this step to thrive into the local scene of the music? What is one thing you want to tell them?
So my advice would be to younger artists, right? Would be like, see, instead of recording a whole bunch of music, right? Instead of spending all that money on recording a whole bunch of music and trying to promote those online or promote it wherever you want to promote the music, instead of doing that, my advice would be to record one or two songs, right?
Right,
Use all that same money that you were going to record 10 more songs, put it into some marketing, put that money into some promoting on one or two songs, and keep promote that song for about 1 year, at least 1 year for those two songs, instead of recording a lot of songs and they're not going nowhere.
right.
You know, that would be my biggest advice, because I learned that the hard way. Also, I used to record a song like every couple of weeks, and I'm putting out a song, and as soon as you put out one song, you forget the next song, so you start promoting a new song, and you keep on wasting money that way. So now my whole thing now is to promote a song for like a year, try to see as far as you could get that song in a year time. And once that song reach a year, then you could start promoting another song and start invest some more money into recording music. You know?
Yeah, definitely. And also, what advice I would give them, right? Because I'm a spoken word artist, and I collaborated with some brothers in Brooklyn. They are rappers and singers. I'm not a singer or rapper, but I speak spoken word. And we
Mm-hmm.
collaborated into this project called we call it the Healing Justice album. It's on Spotify, YouTube, and all different platforms. And to see that, my words has hit differently to people, that you gotta like just reach out to people who are like you. Like you said, like promote it. Like even if you see somebody who's a Belizean like you, give it to them.
Correct.
No matter what they say, just give it. Because why? That person might not listen to it today, but they eventually gonna listen to it.
Eventually.
And they're probably not today or tomorrow, but they're gonna listen to it or give it to somebody who got podcasts. Jump on a podcast with somebody. Say, yo, I just want 30 minutes of your time to talk about my work. I just want to get in your show for 30 minutes and da-da-da. Cool. Mm-hmm. Because it's important to build each other up. And that's the platform that I'm trying to build. I'm trying to get other artists, Belizean artists, Belizean shop owners, Belizean entrepreneurship. I want to create it to where not only Belizean culture can be influenced by what I'm saying, but also having to give other cultures opportunity to tap in to the culture of Belize, understood the culture, understood the history, understood the miscommunication of what Belize is. Like, we have Sean who is doing, we're not saying we say remarkable work, because he came from bad boys to got locked up to now he a politician.
Correct.
And, a lot of us might have our differences about him, but we also respect the fact that he changes his life. Now he's promoted Belize in a way that is more positivity, more tourism board. And if people don't understand what I mean by that, Belize Tourism Board has reached, ever since Sean has stepped in office, has went up 25%.
Just imagine, huh?
And people are like, oh, what you mean? I like, look at the statistic. Ever since he went on the BT Awards, Belize tourism has increased 25%. Imagine if the Belize has increased 100%. Belize would not become below poverty line anymore. Belize would be like everybody is, thriving, profiling, educating. Because why? People who come from Belize come to America for what? Jobs. They come for a better life.
Correct.
But imagine if you stayed home and your homeland had jobs, had everything that you want. Most people would have never come to America like that. Exactly. But you can't glorify what you see on TV if that's all you see. Take a trip out. Get a flight and go to LA for a day. Go to LA for a weekend and check it out. Because I'm guarantee you never know who you're going to run into.
Correct.
So definitely, let my audience know where they can find you, find your music, and how can they get in touch with you.
All right, so I have a website, which is www.honezty.com, spelled Honezty, and pretty much they could find me on any social network online. You can find me on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, TikTok, SoundCloud, Instagram, and all my website have the same name, which is Honezty. So once they go on any Google, whatever, and type Honezty, it's going to bring up all my different sites and stuff. So any major platform I'm on.
Most definitely. His name, ladies and gentlemen, is Honezty. All the way from shout out to Chicago, shout out to LA, shout out to Brooklyn, shout out to Belize.
Shout out to all my people, man, all my friends, all my family, and all my Belizean people, them all over
definitely
the world.
Shout out some people. Let them know. Let them just hear this out. Shout them out real quick. Give them a shout out.
Shout out to one of my biggest fans, which is my wife and kids. They're my biggest fans when it comes to music. Without them, I don't think I'll be doing this. And then shout out to all my Belizean brothers and sisters when it comes to music and the music industry, and who is not in the music industry. Big up to Belize in general, all my people, them from Belize. Big up to Chicago. Big up to New York, Los Angeles, Texas. All my Belizean people, them all over. And also, don't have to forget, big up all my Jamaican and my African people, them all over the world.
Yeah, most definitely, ladies and gentlemen. You hear it first at Urban Notes Podcast. It's your host, Rasta Ron, real quick. We got Honezty in the building. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having
definitely
me, bro.
Make sure you stay tuned, subscribe to this brother. Make sure you listen to his music and subscribe. And make sure you follow us on Urban Notes Podcast.
Make sure we tell the kids them, no bad man there. No bad man there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I respect my brother. Peace and love,
right,
King.
One love.
Thank you.
Urban Notes Podcast, where real people tell real stories through urban lifestyles and cultures.